Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about where are we in the Bitcoin bull run, how much longer do we have, and what this looks like compared to the other bull runs like 2017 and 2013. Before we begin, I want to give a shout out to Ledin. Ledin is one of my sponsors. They're the best place to borrow against your Bitcoin using your Bitcoin as collateral. You can borrow against it and get dollars, or you can lend out your Bitcoin and earn a yield. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and hop on into the YouTube video. I first write this up. So what you're looking at now is from the Held Report, which is a newsletter I write every Thursday. It comes out first for subscribers on Thursday, and then on Sundays I talk about it on this YouTube channel. So check out the link that's attached here or the link below if you want to go get this first. And let's go ahead and hop on in here. So this is my third Bitcoin cycle. It's been a wild run over the last 9 years. It's been a long time. I mean, I got some gray hairs coming in here, which is kind of wild considering I'm in my 30s. And so Bitcoin bull runs are really wild. The bear markets are super intense, but the bull runs are kind of crazy too. And what's happening right now? Where are we in that cycle? And in this video, I'm going to dig in a little bit as to how I think this is very similar to the 2013 bull run. And so all these cycles have something in common. They've got the halving event that occurs before it. People still feel the FOMO and fear. And there's a macro backdrop of like money printer go burr and COVID and lack of trust in governments. And with each bull run, there's all sorts of mental threshold like 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 that represent new different price levels. There's also classic FUD like China FUD, and unfortunately that's kind of gone away, proof of work FUD, and all sorts of other types of FUD. So there's a lot of things that rhyme between these cycles. There was a article I wrote a little while ago called The Price of Bitcoin. So the price of Bitcoin goes into how the price is fundamental to, and this is the original article, how the price is fundamental to Bitcoin's adoption. So Bitcoin has baked into it something called a viral loop. A viral loop is where you share something with your buddies and then your buddies share it with their friends. So Bitcoin has that because people talk about, hey, I've made all this money on Bitcoin, and that attracts their friends. And this is ultimately a good thing for something that's a money. A money needs more and more people to believe in it, and it needs higher and higher liquidity, aka more buyers and sellers. So for a money, this isn't a Ponzi scheme or anything like that. This is about more people are believing in it. Like the St. Louis Federal Reserve says, Bitcoin, like the US dollar, has no intrinsic value. And ultimately the value of any of these assets are based on the pure belief in it. So now, most of us heard about Bitcoin in 2013, 2017 when friends were talking about that rapid increase. Like I said before, then you get into it and then you tell your buddies about it. Satoshi actually hypothesized that this might happen. So he wrote this before Bitcoin had any value, or maybe like it was worth a penny at the time. Satoshi says, as the numbers of users grow, the value per coin increases. It has the potential for a positive feedback loop. As users increase, the value goes up, which could attract more users to take advantage of the increasing value. And we see this happen with these Bitcoin bull runs, which are the prices in gray, and orange are the halving cycles. So these halving cycles trigger these corresponding bull runs a little while after. It's because of that supply issuance drops, and if demand stays the same, then the price starts to climb. Prices are all about supply and demand. Supply starts to decrease, and demand stays the same. That pushes prices higher. That creates that FOMO loop, and then it begins. Before we begin, I want to give a shout out to Choice, one of my sponsors. As most of you know, when you hodl, you don't have to pay taxes. But what if I told you that you could hodl, and when you eventually sell your Bitcoin, you wouldn't have to pay any taxes then? Well, I didn't think that was possible until I found a Choice IRA. Choice is the best retirement account to set up for Bitcoiners that lets you buy and hold Bitcoin in stocks without paying a dime to the government. And how does that work? Choice is an IRA. They have IRAs and Roth IRAs, which means it's a special type of retirement account where you don't pay taxes if you hodl until a certain age, along with some other stipulations. And the best part, you can self-custody your Bitcoin with Choice, which means that you don't have to trust Choice or anyone else with your Bitcoin or your private keys. It's the perfect retirement solution for Bitcoiners. The best time to start stacking sats was 11 years ago. The second best time is today. Search Stack Sats in the App Store or choiceapp.io/held. Link is included in the description below. Go check it out right now. All right, so I first wrote about, let's dive in a little bit now into the 2013 versus 2021 cycle. 2013 was my first cycle, and it actually had too many bull runs inside of one bigger bull run. So as I first wrote about this over here in my original article, 2013 versus 2021, I wrote this in July, which, by the way, a lot of the predictions I make in this came true, and we're experiencing it right now. So in early 2020 or in early 2013, we went from $13 to $260, then back down to 100 from about May all the way through till now, around November. And then the price skyrocketed from 100 to 1200 in a matter of a few months. And so that cycle had two little mini bull runs. And what we're seeing now is we're seeing a lot of that same mechanism. So when I first wrote about this in July, so I wrote this article in July, and this article goes through some of the differences and compare and contrasting. If you're a subscriber, you're able to check this out as well. And I go through some of the early vibes. This is the early meetup in 2013. There was only like a dozen of us. I mean, this is in San Francisco too, the tech hub of the world. There were very few believers. And then here's the $100 Bitcoin party in April 30th, 2013. Myself and 103 people went. That was a big deal. And so in 2021, when we look at how it's corresponding to the 2013 cycle, so this is in July. The gray line here is 2021. The blue line is 2013. If we look, and at the time, if I look at my predictions, so I highlight this, I highlight the charts overlaid, and I go and I talk about the typical recovery drawdowns. And I go, as you can see, this cycle is looking very similar to 2013. If history rhymes, we should have sideways chop a little longer and then an insane winter. And now we're in that winter. And Bitcoin Bitcoin is in gray here in the 2013, and Bitcoin's price in 2021 is gray, and blue is 2013. As we can see, we've had that sideways chop through the summer and fall, and now we're right on the verge of winter here. Now, does past predict the future? No. But does human psychology remain the same? Did all of those people that didn't believe in Bitcoin, did they sell during this mini bear or during this lull? Probably. A lot of people who didn't have a strong belief in Bitcoin just sold. And that reduces selling pressure when the price starts to really climb, because those people never really believed and never really wanted to hodl, versus the hodlers were we're going to hodl no matter what. And so I think this puts us in a good setup, psychologically, for another bull run at the end of the year. A lot of the FUD has also been taken out of the way. China FUD, energy FUD was a big piece of FUD back earlier this year. That's gone with China out of the market. China's not even in Bitcoin anymore because they banned all Bitcoin miners. So China controlling Bitcoin narrative is gone, and Bitcoin miners using dirty China coal, which I don't say that, but like mainstream press is saying that narrative's gone as well. And those are negative narratives that create a headwind for the price, and those are now out of there. And so I think we're on the verge of an exciting couple months. I think that, I can't predict the future. I'm not saying that it's going to go to the moon. You should decide on your own what you want to do. And this is definitely not financial advice, but if this does mimic 13, I think the next couple months are going to be interesting. And I think that some of this is also reinforced by on-chain and price fundamentals. So here are some of my favorites from Will Clemente. Will Clemente is a really well-known analyst in the space. He's one of my favorites. He had a great couple tweets here about how the supply is becoming increasingly constrained or held by the hodlers. So dormancy is talking about like how long it's been since coins have moved, and he has market cap adjusted here. And if we look at these cycles, we've got coins really start to become active and move around in these bull runs where people move it to exchanges to go sell it. Same here in this period in 17. And we saw this happen here earlier in the 2019 recovery and in the 2021 bull in the earlier part of this year. And we're not really seeing that pick up yet. So we're not seeing a ton of coins start to flow to exchanges, start to move around due to the price increasing. And on a yearly candlestick chart, which I always love this one, it's kind of fun to look at. If we look at this, this is since 2011. So if you're familiar with candlesticks, basically these represent time periods and open, high, low, close. And so if you look at, we have a bull run, bear, and then build up, bull run, bear, build up. If history's any indication, I think we're still there's still quite a ways to go. So there's a lot of different ways to slice and dice this. There's tons of on-chain data that looks very good. There's tons of technicals, if you believe in that look great. But I think if history is any indication, the next 30 to 60 days are going to be really intense. Again, do your own research. Do not take this as financial advice, but I'm an old hodler. I've been hodling for 9 years. So for me, nothing changes. I'm still going to be hodling. And it's going to be fun. If you like this video, subscribe, like it. Helps with the algorithm, helps get this out there to more people. And appreciate you tuning in. Cheers. Bye.